Kat. I'm one of the founders of Mend Assembly. During Fashion Revolution Week, we'd like to share with you some really simple mending techniques that you can use for mending while on the go or when you're stuck at home, as we are currently. So the first item I've chosen to mend is a sock, so I'm going to darn a sock for you. I have this wonderful old double layer sock which has lots of holes. I don't know what happened to this. I have got a darning mushroom. This is a vintage one actually, which came from my late great aunt. I have got some needles. You can either use a really long darning needle or one with a nice big hole in the end, whichever you find is easiest to control, and at the minute probably whatever you've got at home. I also have some thread, so because these are quite a chunky sock, I want to use really chunky yarn, but to make it really easy for you to see, I'm going to use this bright pink yarn, which I have no idea where it came from, but why not? And sometimes instead I use an orange. This one's been knocking around for a week. I couldn't get a new orange in time to do this video. He's quite old, but still he's gone really hard, so actually it's a really good thing to use again. So first of all, we locate our hole and we insert our darning mushroom, and it's a good idea to secure that mushroom, so I'm going to pop a hair elastic around it, and I have threaded my needle like this, that shape. So to start off with, we're going to go in, so the damaged area goes down to around here. I'm going to start roughly here, and I'm just going to do a really simple running stitch. So I'm just going to go in and out and in and out and in and out all the way around. You could draw a circle on there if you wanted to do a circle. You could do a square. You can make whatever shape you like, or just follow the shape of the hole. Now with darning, you don't need to tie a knot in it, and once you've started weaving, it shouldn't pull through at all, because what you're doing is recreating that whole area. We've created one of our warps, so now we're going to go back on ourselves. And it doesn't really matter too much where you put the holes. Actually, I'm going to do it a bit closer than that. It doesn't really matter that they're not exact or precise, because you just have to start building the framework and then you go back in and secure it. So we're going to do this, up and back, up and back, up and back, a few times. And you can see from this is why it's a really good idea to have a long darning needle if you've got one, because it means that you can do the whole lot and then pull it through. Another tip that I picked up from one of our other lovely practitioners is not to be tempted to have too long a thread when you do this, or when you do any sewing in fact, because then it has a tendency to bunch up and can become tangled. So we're going to put the needle in. We're going to go underneath the first one. This can be a little bit tricky to start off with, but once you've got the hang of it, it's okay. I'm going to go under that one. We're going to go over the next one. Under that one, pick up that thread. Over that one, over the next. And over. So as you can see, you're starting to build this, and it will all become more clear as we get to the open parts of the hole. It's a bit tricky. just going to secure the thread back in here a little bit. You don't really need to. And then I'm going to trim and trim off the other threads. So we've trimmed and we've finished our sock darn there. So now we're going to undo the hair elastic and take out the mushroom. So there, as you can see, it's kept the shape of the sock because we stretched it over the mushroom, and I think that's a pretty cool. So we've learned how to darn our sock, which is a method you can use for any piece of knitwear as well. So next up we're going to do a patch with a running stitch, what we're going to call our borrow stitching. And this is where an embroidery hoop can come in really handy. So the tools here, obviously you need something with a hole in it. I have several pairs of leggings here. I've prepared my patches for them. I did this last night, so I've created some patches out of old pairs of knickers. You can, if you've got knitwear, you can use old pairs of socks for this. It's really good things to use. Be creative about what you use that's lying around the house that you no longer use, and that's the point of this whole mending session. So I've cut out my heart patches. I've got some pins, I've pinned them on. My daughters have selected their threads. So for this one, for example, my daughter chose this really beautiful colour changing thread. Again, I've got my needles. I might use a slightly smaller needle for this one, an embroidery hoop to hold it into place. Again, you can be as creative as you like with this. You can use thicker yarns, you can use embroidery yarns, use wool on it, and you can do whatever you like. So I'm going to teach you the basics of how to do it, and then run with it. Take your creativity to wherever you want it to go, and then share the results with us as well, because we really want to see what you do. So we're going to do our running stitch. Now, because this is a stretch fabric, I'm actually going to sew not vertically and horizontally, but I'm going to sew diagonally. And I quite like just to let the stitch overrun the patch a little bit. You don't have to do that. You can keep your stitch within the patch. You can just sew around the outside of the patch if you wish. You can do whatever you like. So I've threaded my needle with my embroidery thread. Now the way that I tie knots is a little trick that I learned back at uni. I've licked my thumb. I'm going to wrap my thread around my finger a couple of times, and then I am going to twist them together and loop. And I'm going to start my running stitch, and we're just going to go in and out and in and out and in and out. Now, I don't worry too much about having my stitch lengths exact and correct and matching up, but if you really wanted to, you could mark the increments on the side of your thumb, and that's especially if you get into doing something like sashiko stitch and it really matters about equal lengths within that. When you get into doing more intricate designs in sashiko, the idea is that you cross the threads, but that you try not to meet them. So if you can see here, I'm doing my stitch in and out in between. Those are the lines of stitching, but they're not actually meeting. Now, this won't happen for all of the threads, I'm not really liking the square shape that this is taking on, so I'm going to take the stitch a little bit further out from the heart, and then I'm just going to do some more random stitches coming off down there. So as you can see, we have done this stitch area. We've gone slightly outside it. You don't have to do that. You can do whatever you like. You can, as I say, keep the stitch within her area. You can stitch around the outside. You can just do a really simple stitch to secure it into place, and then do something decorative around the outside. Whatever you want to do, and really up to you. It's up to your creativity and however you want to do it. I'm just going to secure that stitch on the back, and then we will be done. So there you have it. We have mended two things today. We have donned a sock, and I'm quite liking that bright pink now. And we have patched a pair of leggings, and I'm really happy with that and hoping my daughter will really like it too. So we have given you the basics, so now it's up to you. You can be as creative as you like. You could use a different stitch, you could use a blanket stitch or a stab stitch or a French knot, just examples. You could use different shape patches, different fabrics, different colours of yarns, different thicknesses of yarns and threads. Patch and sew different areas, multiple layered patches, anything you want to do really is totally fine, and there are no rules. So hopefully this video has been really informative. We would love it if you could share with us what you get up to, what you mend. It would be absolutely fantastic if you could show us some of the things that this might inspire. It would also be really great if you could give us a like at the bottom. So I hope that you've enjoyed it. I have too. It's been quite weird doing this sitting at home, but thank you very much for watching.